All right, so let's talk about glassware for a minute. I want to dispel the myth that you need 16 different glasses, one for each grape variety or different appellation in the world. It's simply way too subjective for that to be true. And you need to always, trust your own palate and trust your own judgment when it comes to that and experiment. But in general, I think you can get away with 2 or 3 different shapes of glasses. The first glass you'll want to get rid of is your champagne flute. It is simply not that useful. Instead, I would recommend a really sleek, elegant white wine glass like this one. This glass not only works really well for champagne, or I should say at least better champagne, because the champagne flute doesn't catch any aromas. That's maybe really useful if you have some really cheap sparkling wine, but if you're drinking something good, go for a glass that allows for more aromas to be collected in the bowl. This glass is also really great for any aromatic white varieties. I'm talking Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, Gewürztraminer, anything like that that is really sort of fragrant and heady, works really well in this glass. It almost keeps those aromas in check a little bit and lets the wine maintain its freshness. For both whites and reds, this type of glass, the sort of classic Burgundy coupe, is really great. This works great for white wines that are bigger, broader, maybe there's oak aging involved, your white Burgundies, your Chardonnays from all over the world, Marsannes and Roussannes, that kind of thing, work very well in this glass. So if your wine is more complex, oaky, richer, this is a great glass for white wine. On the red wine side, this is a glass that is typically used for Pinot Noir, elegant, fragrant wines that there's a reason they do this. The bowl or the mirror of this glass is so big and there's so much room for aromas to collect. So this is a glass that's great for your sort of perfumed, fragrant styles of wines. That goes not only for Pinot Noir, but for your Nebbiolos that have gained a little bit of age and so forth. The classic sort of Bordeaux style glass is great for just that kind of wine. Structured, bold, dark reds, Cabernet, Merlot, Syrah, those types of wines do really well in this glass. Or in this case, a Sangiovese. Wines that are built on structure. This type of glass lets these wines maintain that freshness and that elegance and work really, really well. For old wines, it becomes a little trickier. And here's where I say you really have to experiment and try different paths. There's no right answer for every single bottle of wine. But what I tend to do when I deal with really old wine, such as this from the 1970s, is to go for a smaller glass, because the more air you introduce into these wines, the quicker it's going to fall apart and fade away. Especially if you've decanted the wine prior, you may want to be cautious with how much air you introduce to this wine. So what I would do is I would pour it into a glass that is smaller, and then I would make sure that I finish each glass before I pour myself any more. So I see that evolution of what the air is doing to the wine in the glass. Cheers.